guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I am doing a lovely grey acrylic design. It's inspired by the mood board challenge on the Envy Nails Facebook page, as a few of mine have been of late. So I am coming in with my extra coarse and I am removing my old acrylic design. So I have pulled out my tips to make it look as if they're in need of a rebalance for obvious reasons. But yeah, I like to do the back bit so that I'm not having anything too harsh near my training hand. But obviously it's really good and really helpful to keep the muscle memory going during these times. So I am just debulking as I would any other client. I am smooth, soft motion. I am not pressing on. I am just letting it go and flow over the nail. Once I'd started debulking, I realised that this set I hadn't actually laid a clear base. So because they're soft pastel colours, the greys that are going over it will cover it, so it will be fine. I don't need to worry. But I was thinking, why is it not going back to clear? Because I didn't lay one. So yeah. But yeah, I thought that I would do a nice set. And I thought, oh well, while I'm doing it and joining in, keeping me occupied and not going crazy during lockdown, I thought that I would record it. So now that I've done that, I have literally just given it a brush off, and I'm coming in with Metal Mickey and I'm doing a really nice ombre for it. So with this one, I am ombreing Metal Mickey, which is my really darkest grey, and then I'm going to come over with Storm Clouds, and I do this on the pointy finger and the little finger. I'm coming in with my second bead, and I'm always remembering to blend that back so that there isn't no joinings when I merge the two. Now I'm coming in with my Storm Clouds, and I'm going to make sure that's got a really nice joining. And now my cuticle bead. I didn't add any extra glitter in this set. I've literally just done an acrylic design because I wanted to do some feathers and a flower. Now it was meant to be a lily. It looks okay. It's not amazing, but I wasn't too disappointed with it once I got over the shock. So I am marbling Storm Clouds and Peaceful Skies and Metal Mickey. And this one I thought would look amazing matted, because it's what I was feeling. So this one, even though there's a bit of twinkle in the Storm Clouds, it does actually get matted, and it goes really nicely matte. Now this is just a full nail of Peaceful Sky because I wanted to do a flower the lily flower. So this is just going to be my background for the nail, but obviously seeing as I'm doing an acrylic design, I needed that to be all the grey. So I've done pretty much a one bead nail, just making sure I'm patting it and pressing it into shape. And I am then going to come in, even when I do a one bead, I never fully do a cuticle. I always sort of just fall shy of it and make sure it's all pressed nice and flat and nice and thin. And then I do like to come in and place a cuticle bead right up at the top. So the little finger was like the pointy finger, so that is going to be another ombre, because these are the ones that I'm going to have my feather design on. But I'm just making sure that back end's nice and thin again. And I've pulled my storm clouds over again. Now obviously the ombres I do cap because, well, for obvious reasons, you don't want to file into that design. So I'm going to come in now because they have set up enough, because I don't like to cap it when it's too wet, because otherwise I find that I'm moving the acrylic underneath. So I have come in and capped my marble. And then I'm going to cap the ombre. I haven't capped the ring finger because obviously it is just a solid colour and it's a strength powder, so it doesn't need. So I am just making sure that that simple clarity is all nicely pressed down, because obviously the less we have to file, the less product is wasted, the less we're straining his wrists. So I slide my tips out slightly to file. Obviously if it was a real person I wouldn't, but I just like to do the cuticle area while it's slightly slided out, so that I'm not putting any excess stress on the silicone that I don't need to. But I'm coming in, I'm doing my side walls and then the body of the nail. And I do the same filing routine for each and every nail. Obviously, like I say, it's always slightly tweaked because it's a dolly, as opposed to a person. You wouldn't slide a person's natural nails out. That would be kind of cool though. Them just drop them off and go, oh, I'll collect them later. I love that grey. It's such a soft, it's not a white, but it's not a grey. It's just, it's so nice. So once I have finished filing these, I am going to come in with some gel polish and I'm going to start the design in gel. Nearly done with the filing. So the first thing I wanted to do to start my art is I like to do my art, even if it's gel polish, I like to have a nice base down to paint on. So I use the velvet matte, and I am giving them all a coat of velvet matte so that when I paint on them I have a beautiful surface for the gel polish to grab onto. So I'm going to cure these for 60 seconds, and then I'm going to come on in with my Eternal Light, and I am doing the main body of the nail first, and then I'm flicking little bits out, but obviously predominantly leaving the majority of the polish in the middle. Now this is one of them designs where I flash cure them quite frequently, so it's because obviously I'm working with gel and I want the feathery effect, so I don't want it to just end up looking like a giant splodge. So by just giving it a few seconds flash cure, it means that your gel is not fully set, but it's hardened enough that you can paint on top or across it, because obviously these are not thick, it's not like that. So I'm moving on to my lily now, and I'm using my black and my fine liner to just map out where my petals are going to go. So these little lines I'm actually doing are going to turn into the centre of each petal. But please do ignore my flower. I recorded it and I kept it in, showing that, you know, I tried. It wasn't too bad, but I definitely think I know where I went wrong, and I do want to try doing it again. Because it's like them that I've curved, I don't think they should curve as much. But hey ho, it was my first attempt at a painting, so I'm flash curing that there. But it was my first attempt at painting a lily on a nail, so I don't think it was too bad. And I actually kept it in because I thought you guys might like to see. So once I'd mapped out my rough areas, I've come in and made my lines more defined. And then I'm going to fully cure that once I've done this part. So they've been fully cured, and now I'm coming in with a soft grey, and I'm just colouring in my petals because I wanted several tones of the grey as opposed to just one flat colour. And because I've done my black first, going over with the grey, the colour that I'm putting over the top of the soft grey is 50 shades. It's so that it adds a little bit of depth to the petals. And I'm really sorry if you can hear my dogs bouncing about. Come lay down. So yeah, I mean, with regards to the lily, the more I look at it, sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't, but it's one of them. Some that have seen it really like it, some have gone, meh. So yeah, it wasn't too bad. It's one of them. Flowers are really hard because I like symmetrical and I like things like that, and flowers just aren't. So I think that's why they drive me crazy. But I'm taking the time to have a go and practice. So I've cured that again, and I'm going to just do some little fine line details just to add a little bit more depth to it. So I'm coming in with the 50 Shades now. And that's obviously not me singing. So, yeah. He just wanted to join in on my video, apparently. So now I'm coming in and just defining my edge lines. Yes, I was still recording. You know when you tell the children to stay out the way because you're doing a voiceover, and you will get them when you're done? And the husband decides he's going to sing and join in on the video. Okay. Anyway, so yes, I am now defining the edge lines because I'm not sure whether this actually made it better or worse. I can't decide on that. But it's one of them. They were pretty, and at the end of the day, it's not my forte. But I really felt, when I saw the mood board, I was like, I love lilies. They're my favourite flower. I have them up my hand. If I'm ever zoomed out enough for you to see it, they're all up my hand and my arm. So I took my dotting tool and I've done some little dots. Nothing fancy. But yeah. And then that's going to be flash cured before I do my tiny, tiny little lines for the staining. I think that's what they're called anyway. I didn't particularly have a picture in front of me. I was just sort of going from my hand. So I'm pretty much going to do the exact same thing now on the little finger that I did on the pointy finger. But because of the angle, I think this one is actually a little bit easier to see. So I've drawn my middle, but then I'm making sure that my brush is nicely loaded, but always dragging it from the centre out so that it gives a definition in the thickness of the lines. So I'm always sort of putting more in the centre, but because I've flash cured it, I can keep it wispy as opposed to it looking blobby, if that is a fabulous technical term to use. But yeah, that's what I've done. So now I am coming in with my top gloss because that is all cured, and as you will see, I go to top gloss the middle one, and I wipe it off. But because I've actually touched it with the gloss, even cleaning it, it's not going to leave it as matte as it should be. So I give that a clean and I go in again and matte that one, purely because it wouldn't have done its self justice. So I've come in and rematted it. So that one isn't gloss, it's the matte top coat.